Hi guys, I have here an elegant, easy to grow and fragrant orchid for you. We're gonna talk about Coelogyne genus of orchid. It's one of the most underrated orchids out there and I've never covered them in my channel. So today's the day. I'm gonna cover the distribution around the globe and also how to grow Coelogynes inside our homes, some of the main features of these plants and also what make them so unique. I will also tell you a little bit about the Coelogynes that I own inside my own house. I hope that's the type of content you'd like to see here. If it is, stay with me and let's dive in. But before, I just want to let you know that it's Mother's Day here in the UK on Sunday. It's very different from other regions of the globe or for other continents. I know that Mother's Day should be every day, but it's an opportunity to celebrate if you are a mother, and if you are here and you are celebrating this Sunday, happy Mother's Day. I do have something happening at my daughter's school. They will sing, and it's that last year of primary school, so it's the last year that I have to enjoy that, so it should be cute and wonderful. So without further ado, let's dive straight into the world of this beautiful orchid. I hope I am able to convince you that Coelogynes are cute by the end of this video. Let's go. So, Coelogyne orchids are originally from Asia, not only from tropical but also subtropical Asia, ranging from India to the Pacific Islands. There are more than 200 species of Coelogyne out there. They grow in a wild, diverse of different environments, from lowlands to high mountains. For this reason, it's really advisable to research which Coelogyne do you have, because they will be a little bit different. Some Coelogynes will have a beautiful cascading flowers like this one. Other Coelogynes will grow one flower after another flower. Some of them will be like tall plants. All of them will be a little bit smaller. So for this reason, they are quite diverse and they are quite beautiful. Now let's talk about some of the special features of this plant. The first thing is that, as I mentioned before, you can find Coelogyne in a wide range of environments. For this reason, they can be epiphytes, they can be lithophytes, and sometimes, rarely, they can also be terrestrial. On top of that, they will have long pseudobulbs that are able to store water, and they will usually, on top of this pseudobulb, they will push out two leaves, and these leaves, they are quite leathery sometimes, but there are Coelogynes that will have thinner leaves as well. Apart from that, we will have a flower spike that will emerge, in this case near the pseudobulb. In my other Coelogyne will come from the top of the plant. It depends on which Coelogyne you have. Which features this plant has that are unique and make them Coelogyne orchids. Not only they are super fragrant, but on top of that, they have a very complex structure. The flowers, they will have 6 petals and sepals, as you can see here with my beautiful Coelogynes. And that will give them a star shape around the center. And we have the reproductive column. That's usually where the lip is. Something very, very nice here is that the lip is generally large and showy, and then you're going to have various colors in the lip, and these to attract their pollinators. What's the most unique feature of the Coelogyne? It's when you look at the lip, actually, they have a structure at the lip that's called cali. And what is that? It's simply some raised bumps or reeds that will serve as a landing platform for the pollinating insects. So when you look at the lip, it will provide grip and traction. So the pollinator will be able to actually collect nectar and pollen. And for this reason, the shape, color, and arrangement of the cali can vary widely between species. So I would say that that's the most unique feature of Coelogynes, is the fact that they will have, talking about in a very simple term, they will have these fringed or ruffled lips that will actually set them apart from other orchids. So now let's talk about care, and I'm gonna be very generalist here. I would deeply and advise you to research which Coelogyne you have Because, for example, I have two Coelogynes. This one is new, and it has very thick leathery leaves. The other one has thinner leaves. But usually speaking, Coelogynes are very adaptable to light. They need light to keep growing, but they would do well with a dappled or dappled light. So if you have some filtered sunlight, they would love it. Undergrowing light, they would love it. I have a Coelogyne that grows with the same light of Phalaenopsis and blooms from multiple times a year, showing you how flexible they are. Different from Cattleyas and Vandas that I have to expose them to, most Cattleyas and most Vandas that I have to expose to the brightest light in my house. Most Coelogynes will be able to grow with the same light as Phalaenopsis. So for this reason, I would say that they are pretty adaptable. Then the same thing when we talk about watering. They enjoy humidity as most plants. I would advise you to keep the mix evenly moist but not soggy to avoid root rot. But if it is evenly moist, they seem to enjoy and adore it. And when we talk about repotting, what I do with my Coelogyne is I potted it up in a mix of moss and bark, but I added a lot of moss because the roots is like a very fuzzy roots, similar to some other plants that are also semi-terrestrial. For this reason, I observed and I thought that a more water retentive mix would be good for that one. And for this one, I haven't repotted yet. We'll check how I will do it in some time soon when this beautiful flower spike is gone. On top of that, I will feed these plants like I feed all of my other orchids, and it should be super fine. So this plant has a very strong perfume. The other Coelogyne that I have doesn't. So even the perfume will vary from Coelogyne to Coelogyne. So do your research. See which one you find is the best for you. I know there are Coelogyne that will become massive plants. There are Coelogynes that are a bit smaller. So it's really important that you research and see which one you'd like to have in your home. One of the most common Coelogynes out there is the Coelogyne cristata. I've never bought it because it's a big Coelogyne. It's beautiful to look at. It has beautiful white flowers. But this Coelogyne apparently needs a cool down temperature to be able to bloom, like Phalaenopsis. So, if you decide to go with a Coelogyne that needs a cool down temperature, you would have to actually have a climate that we would offer this cool down temperature. Other Coelogynes apparently can bloom all over the year, and also the other Coelogyne that I have blooms multiple times a year for me. So as you can see, there are some, because they grow in so many different regions around the globe, there are some small differentiations. So it would be really good for you to research a bit about the species that you have in your home or hybrids. Let you know about the ones that I have in a second. Now, some fun facts about Coelogynes. Do you know that Coelogyne cristata was actually a favorite orchid among Victorian orchid collectors? Yes, it's not only popular now, but it was popular in the Victorian age, which is very interesting. Maybe it's because of the color of the flowers, the fragrance. I don't know. We have to do more digging in there. Not only that, but as you know, I think one of the feature of these plants is the cascading flower, and you can have super long cascading with a ton of flowers growing on top of this spike. And something else, there are some Coelogynes that can grow in very low temperature, even like 4 degrees Celsius. Some species can actually endure different temperatures, which is so incredible. So that's why I love orchids, because they are so wild. They varies a lot, and for this reason we can have an orchid that is very different from another one, and I think it makes me want to explore so many different species and hybrids out there. And after telling you all of it about the Coelogyne, or all the knowledge that I have, just to let you know, I grow one Coelogyne for a long time. It's doing super well, it's full of roots. And it's a very easy Coelogyne to grow. It's Coelogyne ovalis brown. And then now I have this new Coelogyne here. So my experience growing Coelogynes is very focused on that species. I'm no specialist. I did my research, and I thought that would be really nice to show you a different orchid from everything that I always do here. And not only because I'm in love with this cascading flower spike, and I love the other one that for me is like my insect orchid because it looks like a bee when I look at it. So I decided to bring something new to this channel. Usually I talk about the most popular orchids, but it would be nice to cover something else. So that's why we're talking about Coelogyne today. But before you buy your own Coelogyne, do your research because your Coelogyne might have some specific requirements that I didn't cover here. Let me know if I have Coelogynes as well. I would love to know. And if you enjoyed this video so far, hit the like button, leave a comment down below and subscribe to this channel. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the two Coelogynes that I own. So the first Coelogyne is the Coelogyne ovalis brown that I mentioned you that looks like a bee, in my opinion, looks like an insect. And when we are talking about some of the main features of the Coelogyne and talking about the leaf offering this platform, it's very clear when I look to this Coelogyne. You can see the brown and fuzzy lip. And you can see the platform clearly where the insect would land. It grows on high altitudes and usually it's like a lithophyte type of orchid. It will grow on trees but also on top of rocks. And as I mentioned, it has some fuzzy roots and is the kind of orchid that some articles are mentioning like a cool growing orchid. I don't think it is. I would put in the intermediate to warm because I have no issues growing inside my house. As I said, it's a very adaptable orchid. This Coelogyne is the kind of Coelogyne that will produce small pseudobulbs, but you need to have a large pot because each will be crawling on the pot. So it's already out of the pot a lot, and I've already repotted many times because the growth will definitely spread everywhere. So you have a rhizome that will start to become long and long and long. And for this reason, you definitely need a large pot, although the plant is short, but it will grow horizontally. The flower of this Coelogyne will come on the top of the leaves. Actually, when the pseudobulbs mature, it will push out a flower spike on the top as well. And it will keep producing or pushing out a flower after another flower. It will have many flowers coming from the same flower spike, but it's not going to be a pendant. It's a short flower spike and it can bloom multiple times a year. What I noticed with this Coelogyne, as I mentioned, is that it's very, very adaptable to light, to temperature and to watering. I keep it even moist and I fertilize with my other orchids and I have no issue growing these orchids whatsoever. It's a very easy to grow orchid, so I super recommend if you want to try a Coelogyne. It's definitely very, very easy. And now let's talk about my new orchid. So this beauty here will grow in the Himalayas to Vietnam in high altitudes. And just talking about the location, you probably know that would be very different from my previous Coelogyne. According to online articles, this Coelogyne needs a cool down temperature in winter time to be able to bloom. So this is one of those who will tolerate a very low temperature around 80 degrees Celsius. So I need to offer it a cool down temperature, and I think it's not going to be as adaptable as my other Coelogyne because it enjoys the cold weather, or not cold, but like a dropping temperature at night times as well. So it will not bloom for me multiple times a year. There are some Coelogynes that do, but not this one. This one actually will bloom every spring for me if I'm lucky, if I get the care right. So not only it's a high altitude flower, but it's also an epiphyte one. So I need to touch on an epiphyte mix when I repot it. And on top of that, if I'm lucky, if I provide the right cool down temperature, I should have beautiful flowers at spring. I saw other Coelogynes like that at the orchid fair that I went, and they were so gorgeous, so beautiful. So I hope I am able to grow this plant right and to have beautiful flowers in the near future. Next year, if I do my own research, if I look after it well, I might have more pseudobulbs and then I might have even more flowers. Let's see what will happen. What I can tell you is, although it's not one of the most popular orchids out there, I am enjoying this cascading of blooms so much. I was in shock when I look at it because I find it so elegant, so beautiful, and so unique compared to some of the other orchids that I decided to bring it to the video today so I could show you and I could explore a different genus of orchid. Let me know if you enjoyed it so far. I hope I gave you during this video a ton of B-rolls so you can enjoy the flowers with me. And let me know if you grow any Coelogyne, and if you have any questions about it, if you want me to keep you updated while I'm discovering new orchid genus. And that is everything. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, leave a comment down below. Please subscribe to my channel. And next week I have what's in bloom for the past 2 months. I don't intend to include these ones because I didn't bloom them, but I have a ton of flowers to show you, so stay tuned. Bye bye!